Paul, hey, come here. So I hear you're experiencing burnout? Don't worry, you're not the only one. So let's call in some reinforcements. Hi, Dr. Garrison.
Hey, Brittany, how's it going?
Going good, but I know some people are right now, they're kind of experiencing some burnout. So I know burnout and also depression, there's some symptoms that kind of overlap. So how can you tell the difference?
They can feel very similar because a big part of depression is feeling numb. Sometimes people feel sad, but sometimes people don't feel anything at all. And the same thing can happen with burnout. Now, differentiating between the two can be very difficult, though, because oftentimes when it comes to feeling burned out, you feel stuck. And once again, that's a feeling that comes with depression. So you really have to be mindful of yourself to take some time to try to at least recognize you might be burned out. When you start to gain some space, when you start talking with people about it, hopefully you'll start to get some clarity. But really, the most important thing when it comes to getting burned out is being able to say, hey, you know what, maybe I should tell people how burned out I am. Maybe I should try to figure out how I can get a little bit of space.
So I think a lot of people, when they think of burnout, they immediately equate it to work-related stress, but burnout can also be a factor of being a parent, being a student, or just trying to be an adult functioning in today's society. So what's a good mental health check-in for us to have with ourselves, as well as with a family member or friend, to help us avoid being on the verge of burnout?
A big part of what we do now is keep ourselves busy all the time, whether it's reading news, whether we're doing a million things, but we can go, am I taking enough time to just sit, to breathe deeply for a few minutes, to make sure that I'm enjoying life? It's so easy. Even if it's not work or relationship related, seriously, just reading the news alone, you can get completely burned out emotionally on that. So you got to go, am I having enough positive emotions in a given day? And if you're not, you got to go, let me make some time for that. What can I do to reset a little bit? Because you will get burned out from one thing or another. That is for sure, especially in today's society. I feel like there's a million ways to burn yourself out, even if it's just being on Instagram too much.
Yeah, most definitely. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about burnout is that rest is the cure, like just sleep all day, sleep all night, just nap, nap, nap. And that's not always necessarily the case. So what are your thoughts on that? And for you, what is something you would recommend for a patient when it comes to their recovery process from burnout?
Rest and all that is important. Relaxation is actually more important than rest. So actually resetting your body, making sure that you get things back down to where you feel calm, where you're taking deep breaths, where you're visualizing yourself feeling calm. That's an important piece of it. But it's also a matter of communicating. As humans, a big piece of what we do is communicate. So communicating with somebody else, making sure you're talking about how you're feeling, making sure you're able to relate to other people dealing with these things. So staying social, staying active, making sure you're not just keeping it all inside and thinking of it on your own. And for me personally, that's a big part of how I deal with it. There's really two things that I do. One is, and this sounds a little strange, but if I find myself feeling really nostalgic, that makes me go, you know what? My brain is telling me that I need to find things that I enjoy again. I need to take a break a little bit. There's just too much going on. That's my signal. And so then that'll give me an opportunity to sit back, focus on taking some deep breaths, focus on trying to just do something I enjoy 15, 20 minutes a day to go, I'm going to push the rest of the world out. I'm not going to think about work. I'm not going to think about anything. And the other part is talking about it with somebody. My wife is someone who I'm very close with. When I'm stressed about something, I talk with her about it. When I feel burned out, we talk about these things. And then she gets to talk about what's burning her out. So communication and finding time to get a little bit of space from everything. That's what I do.
Is there something that you think would surprise most people to find a ripple effect or a long-term effect of burnout if they don't actually start to slow down and try to take a break? Is there something that notice something mentally or physically?
The thing that for example, someone who burns the candle at both ends all the time, who works all the time, they don't realize they're becoming less efficient because they're doing too much. So what we're seeing is that they're less efficient. They're not doing the quality of work they want to do necessarily, or maybe they're not as present in relationships as they want to be. I've had that issue. I think of myself as a very good communicator. Nobody in my orbit is closer to me than my wife and kids. But there was a time a few months ago, they were like, you are usually really good at listening, but we feel like you're not hearing anything we're saying lately. Like you're really checked out. And I didn't even realize it. That was a wake up call for me to go like, okay, maybe I should stop messing around on my phone or whatever it is that I was doing at the time and really be present. So I took that as genuine feedback. And that's what people should do, is to take feedback from those around them and not be defensive and go, well, you do it too, so leave me alone or whatever, because it's easy to do that. But to recognize, we're all capable of overdoing it, and we got to listen to those around us when they call us out.
And for those who've been shamed or criticized or maybe quick to be labeled lazy or because they're starting to feel burnout, what advice would you give them? And what message would you say to those who are quick to judge someone and quickly label them for being burnout due to lack of understanding or projecting their own insecurities onto someone else?
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head, is that it's easy for us to project our own ways of life, our own feelings, our own the way that we want to see the world, we project it onto other people. So if I'm working 80 hours a week and somebody else isn't, they're being lazy. We have to recognize so much comes from our own perspective, and we have to try to be empathic. If we can really try to understand and feel how other people feel, most people are really truly trying their best. There's some bad actors out there who aren't, but the vast majority of people are. And I think if we can, for ourselves, get into our own empathy, try to recognize what people are dealing with, we can cut them a little bit of slack, give them some grace. And then for people that aren't getting any of that empathy, to recognize whatever it is that's blocking someone's ability to be empathic with them is their deal and not yours. Don't own their problems. Just because they're successful and busy and all this doesn't mean they're happy. So try not to internalize whatever it is they're putting on you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dr. Garrison, for your expertise.
You got it, Brittany, anytime.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.